Jesus feeds the 5,000 people. That's the passage I'm looking at this week at a school from Luke chapter 9. Jesus feeding a lot of people with just a very little bit of food. And the thing I'm noticing is how he involves his friends. And he keeps saying, hey, you do this, you do this. Yeah. And he says to his 12 disciples, you feed 5,000 people. Really stresses them out because they say, tak cukup lah, not enough food, not enough money to buy all this food. But it's interesting that Jesus doesn't give up. He still involves them, he still uses them to feed, to bless all these people. And he says, as he gives out, the 5 roti, the 2 fish, he gives it out to the disciples, and the disciples gives it out to everyone else. And the end of the story, everyone sits down, everyone has enough, there's even leftover to tapao. And there's a principle here that how God blesses or does this miracle is still through people like us, people in ministry who say to God, tak cukup, I can't do this, that's not enough. I think Jesus loves to use people like that. But for one thing, because then we realize that we are just the waiter. The kitchen is Jesus providing the food. There are lots of hungry people. But all we're doing is we're serving. We're just giving out the food that Jesus has passed on to us. And it's a good picture of inadequacy because I think there are going to be lots of times when we don't have enough to do it. There's just so much ministry. We can't handle it. But it makes us go back to Jesus and say, God, you've done this before. Please do this again. Yeah. But another thing it reminds us is that, my dad has this favorite saying, in Hokkien, chilang chipua, kam cheng deswa, which means, you divide up the food so that you don't divide up the family. Yeah. And what it says to us is that everything that God blesses us with, not just our food, but our resources, our gifts, is not just for me. It's meant to be shared and given out to everyone else. It's meant to bring people together. And especially during moments when we don't have enough, when we really stretch, the temptation is to say, this is just for me. Once I'm fed, I'll feed everyone else. But no, God says what you have is meant to be shared. What you have is meant to be for others. So yeah, Jesus uses people to bless many people, but often these people are people who don't have enough. These are people who are often dependent on Him for everything. And these are people who don't keep it to themselves. They share it with others. Yeah.